Okay, so this video is going to be about long divisions with polynomials. So when we talk about long division, it's important to kind of remember exactly what long division is. So if I had to divide 33 into, we'll say 8,437, what we think about is we say, okay, how many times does 33 go into 84? And we say, okay, well, I think it goes into it 2 times. So we say 2 times 3 is 6, and then 2 times my other 3 is 6, and then we're going to subtract, right? And then we subtract 84 from 66, and we get 18. And then we bring down the 3, and we say, okay, how many times do I think 33 goes into 183? And we say, okay, well, I think maybe it goes 5 times. And then we multiply 5 times 33, and we get 165. And say, okay, we need to subtract again. So 183 minus 165 is going to give me 18, and we bring down the 7. And we say, okay, how many times does 33 go into 187? And we say, okay, it goes into it, we'll go with 5 times again because 183 and 187 aren't that much different. So 5 times 33, I'm going to get 165. And when I subtract 187 minus 165, we get 22. There's nothing else to bring down. That means that's my remainder, right? And if we remember correctly, because I have a remainder, it means that 33 did not go into this number evenly. That means 33 and 255 are not factors of the bigger number. And this is kind of the concept we're going to use when it comes to long division. Okay, so we're going to use long division to divide x cubed plus 4x squared plus 2x plus 5 by x minus 2. So the first thing we have to remember is what goes inside the little house and what goes outside the house. So my denominator is going to go outside my little house. So I have x minus 2 divided by x cubed plus 4x squared plus 2x plus 5. And there's a couple of things that we have to know about the divisor, the thing that's inside my house that I'm dividing into, is that these terms have to go in order, meaning I have to start with the largest and go to the smallest, and I can't miss any terms, meaning I can't have a missing x squared. If I have an x cubed, I have to have an x squared, I have to have an x, and I have to have a constant. So I have to have my cubic term, my quadratic term, my linear term, and my constant. And we'll get to an example that doesn't have one of those, and we'll see what we have to do. So we're going to operate this the exact same way we did my long division. So with the long division, we said, okay, how many times does 33 go into 84? And what we're really asking ourselves is, what do I have to multiply 33 by to get as close as I can to 84? And we're going to ask ourselves that same question. What do I multiply to x to get x cubed? Well, x times x squared is x cubed. Once we have that, what did we do over here? We multiplied this 2 by both of these parts, by the 3 and the 3. So I'm going to multiply this x squared times both of these parts. So x squared times negative 2 is negative 2x squared. X squared times x is x cubed. What was my next step over here after I multiplied and I got 66? I subtracted, right? But over here, I'm only subtracting one thing. I'm still going to subtract, but over here, I'm going to subtract 2 things. When I subtract, I change the sign of everything. When I change the signs, I always circle them so I know that I changed them. And then I'm actually going to subtract. X cubed minus x cubed cancels out. It's always going to cancel out. If it doesn't, then we did something wrong. 4x squared plus 2x squared gives me 6x squared. And just like with normal long division, I'm going to bring down my next term. And now I'm going to look at this part here. What do I multiply to x to get 6x squared? Well, I have to have a 6. And x times x is x squared. Just like before, I'm going to multiply my 6x times both of these parts. 6x times x is 6x squared. 6x times negative 2 is negative 12x. Just like before, I'm going to subtract. When I subtract, I change all of my signs. Remember, I circle them to show that I changed it. 6x squared minus 6x squared, they cancel out, and again, they're supposed to. 2x squared plus 12x squared gives me 14x. Just like before, we're going to bring down the plus 5. Okay, so what do I multiply to x to get 14x? Well, I'm going to multiply 14. So positive 14. So 14 times x gives me 14x. 14 times negative 2 gives me negative 28. I'm going to change my signs, so subtract to a negative and a positive. 28 plus 5 gives me 33. So I have a remainder of 33. Now there's two ways that I can write this answer. I can say x squared plus 6x plus 14 with a remainder of 33, or I can say x squared plus 6x plus 14 plus 33 over x minus 2. And the x minus 2 comes because this is what I'm dividing by, and 33 because that's my remainder. And of course, because I got a remainder, that means that x minus 2 was not a factor of this polynomial. We're going to do another example or two. Okay, so we're going to divide 12x cubed minus 11x squared plus 9x plus 18 by 4x plus 3. Again, we have to make sure we put the right thing inside my division part, which is going to be the numerator. And on the outside is my denominator, so 4x plus 3. And we're going to say the same thing. What do I multiply to 4x to get 12x cubed? Well, 4 times 3 is 12. X squared times x is x cubed. And then we're going to multiply. 3x squared times 4x gives me 12x cubed. 3x squared times 3 gives me a positive 9x squared. We're going to subtract. When we subtract, we change all of our signs. So 12x cubed minus 12x cubed cancels out. Negative 11 minus 9, the signs are the same, so we're going to subtract and take this, or we're going to add and take the sign of the larger. So I get negative 20x squared, and I'm going to bring down my next term. What do I multiply to 4x to give me negative 20x squared? Well, I know I'm going to need a negative. 4 times 5 is 20, and x times x gives me x squared, so I need to multiply negative 5x. Negative 5x times 4x gives me a negative 20x squared. Negative 5 times 3 gives me a negative 15x. Change the signs. Remember, anytime we change the signs, we circle them to let us know that we changed them. 20x squared, negative 20x squared plus 20x squared go away. They add out. 9 plus 15 gives me 24x. We're going to bring down the 18. 4x times 24x is a positive, or what do I multiply to 4x to give me 24x? I'm going to multiply a positive 6. 6 times 4x gives me 24x. 6 times 3 gives me a positive 18. We're going to subtract, so we're going to change all the signs. 24 minus 24 gives me 0. 18 minus 18 also gives me 0. So in this case, I have a remainder of 0, which means that 4x plus 13 goes into this polynomial evenly, so they're both factors of this polynomial, meaning if I multiply them together, I would get the original polynomial of 12x cubed minus 11x squared plus 9x plus 18. So my answer, when I divide them, would just be 3x squared minus 5x plus 6, and I wouldn't have to say anything about the remainder because the remainder is 0. I'm going to do one more example because this video is getting kind of long. Okay, so this one I'm dividing 2x cubed plus 4x squared minus 5 by x plus 3. Notice I have a cubic term, a quadratic term, but I don't have that x to the first power. Like I said a little while ago, I cannot have a missing term, so I do have to do something for that missing term. So I need to make sure I represent that missing term with something. So I'm going to have 2x cubed plus 4x squared plus 0x minus 5. Because again, every term has to be represented. On the outside, I'm going to have x plus 3. And then my process is still the same. What do I multiply to x to get 2x cubed? Well, I'm going to multiply 2x squared. 2x squared times x is 2x cubed. 2x squared times 3 is 6x squared. Subtract, and I get negative 2x squared. Bring down that 0x. That's still part of it, even though it's just a placeholder right now. What do I multiply to x to get negative 2x? Well, I'm going to multiply a negative, or to get a negative 2x squared, I'm going to multiply a negative 2x. Negative 2x times x is negative 2x squared. Negative 2x times 3 is negative 6x. We're still going to change all of my signs. So negative 2x plus 2x, those go away. 0 plus 6 is 6x. Bring down the minus 5. What do we multiply to x to get 6x? We're going to multiply 6. 6 times x is 6x. 6 times 3 is 18. We're going to change all the signs. And my 6x's go away. Negative 5 minus 18, the signs are the same, so I add and keep the sign, so I get negative 23. So this one has a remainder, so that means that, of course, x plus 3 did not go into it evenly. But what's important to note is that we had to have that missing term represented somehow. So again, my answer can be written two different ways. I can say 2x squared minus 2x plus 6 with a remainder of negative 23. Or we can say 2x squared minus 2x plus 6 minus 23 over x plus 3. Again, the minus 23 came because that's the remainder, and the x plus 3 because that's what I'm dividing by. So that's 3 examples of long division. There is another way to divide polynomials, and that's synthetic division, which I will talk about in a different video. So good luck.